each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Trudging Tuesdays. Did you hear that? That would be this phone. Oh, it's dying. That's what it's trying to tell me. Now, we're going to have to do this left-handed. Actually, I'm allowed to use my right hand. It's just, the problem is I can't feel anything right now. It's going to be a few hours before I can. Oh, I did it. Yay. Oh, it's not quite in. Oh, come on. I can't feel it, so I don't know if it's going in or not. There we go. All right. This is what I'm going to have to deal with. Hi, Amber. Hi, Michelle. Amber says, I knew you could do it. Love you. Good to see you. Good to see you, too. Hi, Michelle. Michelle says, interesting. Yeah, I mean, it was just a minor procedure. I think out of the 3 hours that it took, I think the surgery was like 10 minutes. Well, it was longer than that. The nurse knew who I was, though. We started talking. She's like, what do you do? I'm like, well, I ruined drinking career. She goes, oh, you know what? I remember you. Your card's in my locker. And she talked about her brother, asked about some treatment stuff. That was kind of cool. What else happened? I guess when they didn't put me under, they sedated me. I want to be sedated. Bum, 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 bum. I want to be sedated. All right. So, yeah, I guess I started fighting. I guess I started picking fights. I tried to get out of the gurney. So they had to bring me back out of it. It doesn't surprise me, though. It doesn't. I have this thing. I don't know. See, I grew up in group homes and stuff, and it really, I'm very wary when I sleep. Right. Michelle's asking how the finger is. Right now, it's numb. Right. I was hoping I was kind of have a cast where I could flip people off, but they didn't give it to me. She did give me a little smiley face on my finger there, though. That meant it was that finger. She drew all over me. She put right there, yes, this hand, this arm. All right, so it is what it is. Like I said, right now, it's just my fingers are numb, so it's hard to do anything. But when I touch this hand, man, it is really warm. Wow, that is a warm hand, man. All right. So I'm supposed to keep this on for a few weeks. So, and as usual, they had a hard time finding a vein. I would not be a very good intravenous drug user. It's hard to find my veins. All right. Now, this is probably going to work a little different because I have to use both hands to do the mouse. So the laugh track may be a little off, but we're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to do what we usually do here. All right. So it is not just 12:03, but it is also time for Dion's Daily Funnies. Why isn't mine not hooked up to the internet? All right. Okay. A little stretching in the fingers. All right. So it's time for Dion's Daily Funnies. What do you call a fly without wings? A walk. I got two laugh tracks here, so then I have to move it. Why did the car take a nap? Because it was tired. tired. He was tired. It's a tired car. Did you hear the one about the guy who ate a frog? Yeah, he's probably gonna croak. Nah, ribbit. Ribbit. Might go check chat here, but I only got one hand. It'll change here shortly. I'm allowed to do light work, things like that. The one thing, and my wife did ask, is he going to be able to play video games? Which I didn't want to ask because it's kind of embarrassing that I'm 55 and I still play video games. But I do need I decompress. Like right now, I'm playing Red Dead Redemption. I played it 100 times. I really don't need to think. I even have it set up to where it's auto aim, and it's on story mode. Right? What do you call a cold puppy? That'd be a chili dog. All right. All right, let's do one more. I don't like my fingers being numb because it makes me think my fingers are asleep, and they do that a lot. So while I'm sleeping. All right. Did you hear about the octopus that held up a bank? It was an armed robbery. Wouldn't that be an 8 armed robbery? Should we do one more? Why not? Why not? Maybe not. Because I'm having to do a lot of scrolling and there's no more jokes. That is God's way of saying we are done with that portion. Oh, God, this is getting annoying. I hate feeling inept. It's starting to piss me off a little bit, right? Starting to piss me off a little bit. I've already had to ask my wife to do like several things. That's all right. This is just God. Sometimes God puts us in a position to where we have to ask for help. So I'm kind of fine. I think I can do everything myself. I tend to think I can do everything myself. It's not true, right? What does it mean? It means I don't run the show, man. I don't run the show. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. Now, welcome to the Daily Trudge. See, it doesn't work as well with my left hand. All right, welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion, otherwise known as the Podfather. All right, if you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. All right, chat is working, thank God, so I won't have to do much more clicking. Michelle says my veins are hard to find too. Okay. Oh, I don't feel so lonely. Yes, hi, Kitty. I'm not really in the mood for you to be up my butt. Okay, I love you. Go do something else. Looks like we're going to be in the big book today on around page 53. And we're going to kind of do what we did yesterday. Where I'm not going to read the daily reflection until we get to this part in the book. So let's go to the book. I had time. I should have prepared a little bit better. I had my jokes prepared. Because I'm like, I'm going to need extra time to get this together, but I didn't need as much time as I thought. So I had an extra 15 minutes, actually. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. And of course, we're kind of in step 2, so I will try and mix this up a little bit for us. All right. Let's see. All right. Yeah, why not? All right. So we're going to start. We're going to start at the top of page 53. The second paragraph is where we're trying to get to. So we'll get to the daily reflection at that point. Logic is great stuff. We liked it. We still like it. I do. Right. Here's the thing. When people tell me that I shouldn't base decisions off emotions, well, what do I have left? Logic. It's what I have left. Right? And we don't really want to base our decisions off our emotions, do we? That's not usually, I know for Dion, that's usually not the best move, right? So, but I took it to an extreme. There's a balance here. There it is quite often that my emotions do lead to something, but it's got to be a solution. I've got to look for some other things. If I'm angry, maybe it's best that I calm down a little bit before I discuss certain things. maybe what I'm angry about or whatever, right? So, and we were given the power to think, right? It is not by chance we are given the power to reason, to examine the evidence of our senses, and to draw conclusions. Okay. Now, I do have one other thing, and so do you, besides logic, and that is the intuition. And intuition is a mixture of emotion and logic. What am I doing here? Sorry, I mean, I just had surgery, so my mind's a little woo-hoo. All right. It's a little, all right. Intuition, that's what I was looking up. Is intuition logic and emotion combined? Just ask that question.
Yes, intuition involves both logic and emotion. It's seen as a quick, automatic process that combines subconscious pattern recognition with emotional, bodily feelings.
If you didn't hear that, we'll go ahead and turn her down. Yes, intuition is generally considered a combination of subconscious logic, pattern recognition, and emotional bodily feelings. It acts as a rapid automatic brain process. All right. So, see, we're going to take these two things and we're going to look at them the right way. All right. Ow. I felt that one. Okay, fingers are starting to fade. And I'm going to be all mad because my finger's going to hurt because nobody wear out. Okay. To examine the evidence of our senses and to draw conclusions. That is one of man's magnificent attributes. We agnostically inclined would not feel satisfied with a proposal which does not lend itself to reasonable approach and interpretation. Hence, we are at pains to tell why why we think our present faith is reasonable, why we think it more sane and logical to believe than not to believe, why we say our former thinking was soft and mushy. We threw up our hands in doubt and said, we don't know. Huh. What power? Those are three powerful words. And probably the first honest thing that you'll say in the program, besides my name's so and so and I'm an alcoholic. Okay. Maybe you go to a peer group or whatever where you don't say that. So the first honest thing you're going to do is say, I don't know anymore. What a great place to be. Yeah. When I was new, okay. Now, when I came back to the program, I knew all this stuff. I've had this stuff memorized since I was 20 years old. I have dyslexia. I tend to memorize things. All right. But when I put alcohol in me, all of this goes out the window. It's gone. I can't access it. It's like literally not there. All right. So now is today's daily reflection. So we're going to get to it. I don't run the show. When we became alcoholics, crushed by self-imposed crisis, we could not postpone or evade. We had to fearlessly face the proposition that God is either everything or else he is nothing. God either is or he isn't. What was our choice to be? Okay? This is another black or white situation. Okay? Been a while since I've used this example, but this is what I would call the pregnant situation. Right? You're either pregnant or you're not. You're either letting God into your life or you're not. I mean, there really isn't much difference. Okay? You're either pregnant or not. You can't be kind of pregnant. You can be trying to get pregnant when you can be trying to get sober. You can be trying to find God, certainly. But we had to start somewhere. And what I don't really want to be a person that interferes with somebody searching for their higher power. Even if I find it silly, it does not matter, because when it comes down to it, it is none of my business. All right. Today, my choice is God. He is everything. For this, I am truly grateful. When I think I'm running the show, I am blocking God from my life. I pray I can remember that when I allow myself to get caught up into self. Now, the thing is every now and again, it still happens to me where I have these reactions where I want to play God or something happens. So thank God for the 10th step, right? Thank God for the 10th step because then I can take care of it right then and there without having, So it's not a matter of if Dion is going to try and take control back, it's a matter of when. And what am I going to do about it when that comes up? Now, this is a human mistake. If I catch it right away, you're going to notice that most people are going to be like, oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's kind of cool. You caught that right away. And, you know, maybe you're in a group. I know for me, sometimes I'll be talking with 2 or 3 people, maybe even a little bit more. And I notice that I'm dominating the conversation. So I will stop and say, I feel like I am dominating the conversation. So I'm going to shut up so other people have a chance to talk. And I intentionally be quiet and listen to what other people have to say. Um, a lot of times people are pretty nice. Oh, Dion, no big deal. But still, what's going on there? Is that a vein popping out? Huh, weird. Okay. My point is that you can start your day over anytime that you choose. If you want to start your day over right now, you can do that. Okay. I've had to start my day over a few times because I was starting to get ornery. My anxiety was popping up. I couldn't believe my blood pressure was what it was. It was actually for Dion, it was pretty good. So, it's all right. Got some things out of it. Um, Nurses were very nice, very accommodating. Um, yeah, I was treated very, very well. Right. Yeah, I was getting a little frustrated because they were trying to find a vein. Is that on them? No, it is not. Sometimes I've had to have a CAT scan so they can find not a CAT scan, where they do that, where they put the little wand over you for like pregnancy and stuff. All right. The most important thing is that today I'm willing to grow along spiritual lines and that God is everything. It's that willingness. It's always about willingness. Everything, okay, willingness and acceptance, they go hand in hand. These are buddies. These are ride or die friends. Okay. Without willingness, I ain't got nothing. Because it always starts with willingness for it. Well, Dion, are you willing to have a better attitude? Yes, I am. Okay, then let's have a better one. There we go. Look at that whole process. Wasn't very long, was it? But it works. God, save me from being angry. Thy will, not mine, be done. There is a reason things happen in order, right? And why was it? Because I wanted to get home and have a cup of coffee. I was feeling you know, I don't usually get up that early in the morning. I got up just fine, which tells me that I'm tired, right? But what does it tell me? It tells me I can get up. But I went to bed at 8 o'clock last night. So anyway, but that we are willing to grow, right? When I was trying to quit drinking on my own, it never worked. With God and AA, it is working. This seems to be a simple thought for a complicated alcoholic. I know for me, I have to keep things simple. I have to keep things simple. Michelle says, I relate to you in so many ways. I'm glad to hear that, Michelle. I appreciate that because it means I'm doing the right, it means I'm hitting the right spots, right? Um, we all go through this. It's just, I don't mind talking about the things that embarrass us, like intrusive thoughts. I get intrusive. Yeah, I get intrusive thoughts. I'm an alcoholic. Thinking you go into an AA meeting not being judged, whatever. I know I'm being judged, but like me, They're probably going, "Do I really think that? No, I don't." Whatever, that's an intrusive thought. See, it didn't really have anything to do with me anyway. Yeah. I know that, you even the people that love following me say, "I'm gonna irritate you one way or another." If my friends don't irritate me, I ain't growing. Or you all irritate me a little bit, at least. I hope I irritate you a little bit too, because it helps us grow. It helps us look for solutions and stuff, and we can utilize that. All right. I'd like to think I'm a fine Earl Grey, but yeah, I don't think a lot of people see me that way. I think people more see me as a Mandarin Orange. I'm just coming up with stuff. All right. So I'm gonna repeat the paragraph because it goes right into the next one. So a little bit of repeating here. When we became alcoholics, crushed by self imposed crisis we could not postpone or evade, we had to fearlessly face the proposition that God is everything or else he is nothing. God either is or he isn't. What was our choice to be? Real quick, there's a part in there that says fearlessly had to face. All right. Arrived at this point, we were squarely confronted with the question of faith. We couldn't duck the issue. Some of us had walked far over the bridge of reason toward the desired shore of faith. The outlines and the promise of new land had brought luster to tired eyes and fresh courage to flagging spirits. Friendly hands had stretched out in welcome. We were grateful that reason has brought us so far, but somehow we couldn't quite step ashore. Perhaps we've been leaning a little too heavy on reason for that last mile, and we did not like to lose our support. All right. Now, this isn't really talking about I don't run the show, but it is helping us, um, and we're going to be hearing this a lot. So I am going to go forward into the big book. We're going to go to um, step 3 real quick. Page we're at 52. Oh, I don't have to go that far then. All right. So on page 60, being convinced that we were at step 3, which is that we had decided to turn our will and our life over the care of God as we understood him. Just what do we mean by that? And just what do we do? All right. The first requirement is this isn't what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. There it is. All right. Page 62 at the bottom is what I was trying to go for. But we're going to go up to the bottom of page or the top of page 62. So if you want to go there, sorry, I was a little off. My brain isn't firing on all cylinders today. Oh my God, that was refreshing. Okay. Selfishness, self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our troubles, driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking. Self-pity, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us seemingly without provocation. But we invariably find that at some time in the past, we have made decisions based on self, which later places us in a position to be hurt. This is one of my favorite parts of the book because it confronts a lot of things for Dion, right? So it says in the beginning, selfishness, self-centered, that we think is the root of our troubles. Gosh, you're being nice. That is absolutely the root of almost all my troubles, because then it goes on, driven by 100 forms of fear. Yeah, I was driven by 100 forms of fear. Am I going to get this? Am I going to get that? Is that going to work out? Is this going to work out? Where am I going to get my alcohol? Do I have enough money for alcohol? How am I going to get there? When am I going to be able to drive? Am I going to the we're going to the bar tonight. Do I need a pregame? Do I need to do this? There's a lot of work that goes into this. And a lot of fear that I'm not going to get what I want. That was kind of what was going on this morning. See, I wanted things to happen a little bit quicker. The fear was it wasn't going to happen in the time that Dion wanted. I had to let that go. Or I would have started bossing people around. Yep. I would have started playing the director, telling people what to do, which way to go. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor. I don't know any of this stuff. Who am I? Right? And they kept asking, do you need this? Do you need that? And I'm like, it started to annoy me that they were asking me so many freaking questions. I don't like being questioned a bunch. Unless it's about what I do, and then I will talk your ear off. All right. Here they are being nice again. So are troubles we think of basically of our own making. No, they're of my own making. Yeah. Because I was driven, you know, right here it says we have made decision based on self, which later places in a position to be heard. Yeah. I'm I still there are things that I did when I was a kid that I'm paying for now. Yeah. Like the ding dong ditching, the prank calling, all that other stuff. Why do you think we're getting bombed in Zoom? These are just kids being kids, man. They really are. And what's going on? Well, we are paying a price for something that we did earlier in life. Welcome to the world, man. That's how life is. So they arise out of ourselves, and the alcoholic is an extreme example of self will riot, though he usually doesn't think so. All right, now these need to go in hand because if he doesn't usually think so, then it's beyond because he's not seeing it, and then gets worse, and then it goes further and further and further. Ah, above everything, we alcoholics must be rid of this selfishness. We must, or it kills us. God makes that possible. Is the only way I found was a higher power, the program. I needed a new set of morals, man, because mine sucked. It did not do me very much good. Right? Everything I ever did, even when I had the best of intentions and I wanted everything for you, it was still selfish in some way. Okay? When I was drinking, even when I had the best of intentions, I was hoping to get something out of it. And if I wasn't going to get anything out of it, I didn't really want to do it. Right? Even though I knew helping others unconditionally was the best way to go, I still knew that when I was drinking, but I wasn't capable of it. I wasn't until that. I don't know why, and I don't even know why. Okay, so and often there seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without his aid. Many of us had moral and philosophical convictions galore, but we could not live up to them even though we would have liked to. And that's where a lot of us land. I was that way. A lot of people that I know, you know what? Alcoholics are actually pretty good people for the most part. Alcoholics we're amazing people. We're great workers. We're great friends. We're great uncles and fathers and mothers and aunties and we are, unless this is going on. And then I seem to be the complete opposite. Right? So I got some choices here because see, I don't know why, but for some reason, alcoholics' lives seem to have more of an effect on other people for some reason. So you're gonna have to make a choice here. Do you want your ripple effect to be with goodness, or do you want it to be destructive? Those are the choices. Again, God either is or he isn't. Do you want to be good or bad? In this case, there is not much gray, even though we live in balance and we live in the gray, right? In this case, it was not. Neither could we reduce our self-centeredness much by wishing or trying on our own power. We had to have God's help. Because the problem is, I didn't know where I was being selfish. I didn't know. So I had to become aware of it first so I could do something about it. Right? This is the how and why of it. First of all, we had to quit playing God. Now you're going to meet some people that are going to say, "Oh, I'm not playing God." Why do they say that? Because they're atheists. They don't believe in God. How can I be playing God if I don't believe in God? Yeah, see that? Oh, that's a conundrum, isn't it? Now, this is denial. It is self-will run right to the extreme, though he usually doesn't think so. Okay? So we had to quit playing God. It didn't work. What does it mean? It means stop telling people what to do. Okay? Would you take advice? Let me put it like this. You know, it was weird because I got a message from my cousin this morning. I haven't, we know each other a little bit, not much. I've never met her. I don't even think we've talked on the phone. All right. But she saw one of my videos and made a comment about age and how mature we are, things like that. But essentially, what she had brought up was that she sees that when alcoholics start drinking, that tends to be their age. And I'm like, you are correct in that. You are absolutely correct in that, right? So that means that means that for a good portion of my life, I was 13 because that's when I started drinking. Now, I'm going to ask you something. Do you want your life coach or recovery coach to be 13 years old? Do you get what I'm saying? Because that's what you would have. Wouldn't it matter if I was 35, 40, 45 years old? Okay. I'd have to say I'm probably 18, 19 by now. I'm growing up some. No, I'm more my age, but I'll always be a Toys R Us kid. Okay. But what I'm saying is, would you want a recovery coach that's 13 years old? Would that do you? Well, there's a lot of them out there. And if you haven't grown it up yet, okay, this is one of the reasons why we ask you to have 1 or 2 years before you can work in the industry. Okay. We're trying to be nice about it. But the fact of the matter is this: you're still a child. Emotionally, you're still a child. And you're not going to be able to work in this field if you do not have strong boundaries or healthy boundaries, not strong, necessarily strong. Healthy is strong in and of itself. So next we decided that hereafter in this drama of life, God was going to be our director. All right. Now if you're following along, I want you to notice that every time we refer to God here, even as a different word, it is capitalized. Right? So God was going to be our director. He is the principal. We are his agents. Right? They're giving us options here. The next one is the one that I grabbed onto because I didn't really have a father growing up. Right? He is the father and we are his children. See, that worked well enough for me. It's all it took. Now I have the best father in the whole world, man. Right? I didn't have much healthy, good male influence growing up. Yeah. Now that doesn't mean it's on them. I got to take responsibility for my own stuff, right? Most good ideas are simple, and this concept was the keystone of the new and triumphant arc through which we passed to freedom. Right? All right. I think that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going to wrap this one up here, right there. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. Michelle, it's good to see you. Amber, good to see you too. I hope you have a great day. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. Sorry, I need both hands for this.